Hey guys, welcome back to the Kool-Aid Podcast. Welcome back to episode 48. On today's episode, we're going to be doing a roundup of match day 7. There were some very exciting games as usual with the World Cup. Argentina, Mexico, France, Denmark, and there were a couple other games. Let me introduce my
Boy, here's a little laggy, but what's up, guys?
no worries about it. All right, the first game of the day that happened was actually Tunisia and Australia. Now, this game that I was watching it, Australia managed to win it 1-0. It was they scored early in the game around the 23rd minute. They I would say both teams were kind of even though that Tunisia had some good chances. And then later on, they brought the pressure. Um, but this is a fantastic result for Australia just because in the first game they lost against France. And now they're going to be playing. I believe it's Denmark. So in their last game, they're still alive in the competition. It doesn't look like Tunisia um, has a chance of going through just because they have to play France in their last game. But what do you make of that game?
The Australia goal was beautiful. That header could not have been placed any better than it was. And I mean, 1-0, 5-0, whatever the score have been, they got the job done. And now against Denmark, Denmark's a good scrappy team. We'll talk about the France game after, but Denmark is a team that has fight. I had them as one of my dark horse teams. I have a feeling that Denmark might have the edge against Australia, but we'll see. But that match is gonna come down to whoever wins that game is gonna make it out with France. So, I mean, Australia they show some fight against France. They got to jump against Tunisia. They did what they were asked to do, and I mean, not much else to say. They have if they want to make it to the knockout stage, they have to win against Denmark. So.
Yeah, it's just that simple. But the next game that was being played, it was Poland, Saudi Arabia. Poland won 2-0 actually, and Saudi Arabia were very dangerous. They had a penalty in which it was a little bit controversial. It was like a soft penalty, but Chesney pulled up with an incredible save.
No,
An
Sessions
incredible,
carried that game.
yeah, Chesney carried that game. A double save to basically keep Poland level because Poland they basically went through in the ahead in the game, and Poland were actually like the goals that they scored. The first like they were actually really good goals, and Lewandowski was the one who scored them, and he got his first World Cup goal. But Saudi Arabia were playing really well. They were pushing Poland back. Poland were playing very defensively, trying to hit on the counter, and that's where they got the goal. And Saudi Arabia just couldn't take their chances. They had some good chances, but they just couldn't take them.
No, I mean, we were thinking that since Saudi Arabia had beat Argentina, we were expecting them to beat Poland. That wasn't the case. This World Cup has been one of the most unpredictable World Cups that I have seen in a while. And with this win, Poland has now put themselves at the top of the leaderboards,
Yeah,
in the group. They're now in a spot that we don't expect them to beat Argentina, but if they were to somehow tie it, that could really shake things up in the group. So I mean, they did what people didn't think they were gonna do. The people thought that Saudi Arabia was gonna continue their hot streak against Poland. They got the job done, and now they have placed themselves in a position that they can. People counted them out after the Mexico game. They can very well make it through now. And Saudi Arabia has dug themselves into a massive hole because now
yeah, yeah,
if if they beat Mexico, you have to win on the Argentina and Poland result to see what happens. So
yeah. It's that simple now. Because they lost this game, they have to win their last game against Mexico. Poland, I believe, a draw is enough if, for example, Mexico win. But if Saudi
yes,
Arabia
yeah,
win,
yeah. I was thinking about that right now. If Saudi Arabia wins, Poland needs to tie for them to make it past,
yeah, uh-huh.
which
It's
means
that simple.
it's looking very good for Saudi Arabia right now. If they're able to beat Mexico, they make it through.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. All
If
they
if,
need to
if,
do is beat
if
Mexico.
Argentina does what they're expected to do and beat Poland, and Saudi Arabia beats Mexico, they make it through, and that would be very
Mhm.
very surprising that Saudi Arabia made it over Mexico and Poland, which are two teams that are superior historically
Yeah, exactly.
and on paper to Saudi Arabia. So
Yeah, but they've been playing some really good football. They've been playing with the high line, just trying to catch teams in the offside trap, and and they like to press high. And this team is very physical. That they like to run. They're very energetic, and this is a tactic that is very uncomfortable to play against, just
actually,
because they're either faced and they're
talking about
tough.
Saudi Arabia, do you see? Remember the defender for Saudi Arabia that got kneed in the face by the goalie?
Oh yeah.
Do you see his X-ray?
No, I haven't seen it.
Look at his X-ray later of his skull. Half of his skull is cracked down the middle.
No way.
Like I saw it yesterday. Poor guy, he's probably done for his career, or he's done for at least a year. He is cracked down the
Wow.
middle
No
from that hit.
way.
That was look it up later. That was I was shocked. I was like, how is this guy still alive? That was incredible.
The the Saudi goalkeeper, right?
No, no. Remember the Saudi goalkeeper need like he hit the defender with a knee in the head. Remember against Argentina in Portugal.
Oh yeah,
Remember
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
that he like
Yeah.
fell off and then like they started calling the medics to like come to rush to. That
Oh.
guy's X-ray shows that he is cracked down the middle.
Oh yeah, and that's why they took out his
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 kid, yeah, before
jersey.
the game. Yeah, yeah. That's
Okay,
crazy.
let me pull it up.
Pull it up right now if you
Um,
want. Put it on the screen if you want.
mm-hmm. And try to see it. Um. Oh. Well, let me see if I can try to share my screen. Okay. Is this it?
I can't see anything.
Oh, you can't see anything.
No.
Oh wait, hold up. Well, I will. I'll look at the picture later. But yeah, the injury looks bad.
He's lucky he's alive.
What?
That's crazy.
Yeah, he had to go. He had to get surgery.
Multiple. But yeah, moving on.
Ooh, that's tough. That's tough. Uh, but it just shows like how how strong those Saudi players are. But now moving on to the third game, the France and Denmark game. Now, congrats to France. They made it through the round of 16. They made it through to the round of 16. They broke the World Cup curse. We saw how in the previous World Cups, the winner of the previous one used to get out in the group stage, but France have managed to pass through the group. And congrats to Mbappe as well because he has gotten 7 World Cup goals, one behind Messi, and I believe no, one behind Messi and Ronaldo, which is props to him because he's still such a young talent. And this basically solidifies, I think, France as number one. All they need is a draw, and I think even if they lose,
Yeah, no, no. Even if
they,
they lose,
they'll
yeah,
still
yeah.
go.
Even if they lose, they make it. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's.
they're gonna be
I'm.
first.
All I'm gonna say about this game, all I'm gonna say is this: Denmark let the game slip away. They had the tie right in their hands. That first goal
Yeah,
by Mbappe, it was a defensive mistake, letting Hernandez pass through. Good goal by the French team and Mbappe. That second goal was dog shit because there was no one guarding. You saw Mbappe hit it with like his hip or something.
yeah. He hit it with his knee.
That ball found him. He didn't find the ball, but there was without with how big the Danish defenders are. They needed to get at least one body on Mbappe. Mbappe was completely free, so that was a
Yeah, and something like the defender looks at Mbappe, and then like he starts running.
when I saw a goal, I was shocked. I was like, "How is no one on the best French player in the field? How was no one marking him?" And the
Yeah,
Denmark goal it was nice, man. We expect them to score a header. That team has giants playing. So Christensen, our boy from Barca, that was a pretty nice goal. It was an interesting game, 2-1. I mean, I expected it to be a fun match. It was a fun match. Denmark now during that tough hold, they have two ties. They have a tie with Tunisia, and now they lost to France. So I'm trying to do math here. If they beat Tunisia, no, if they beat Australia, I think that's what it's gonna come down to. Whoever wins that game is gonna make it past to the next round.
Yeah, exactly. So it's basically France. France is going to be playing against Tunisia.
Oh no, wait, no,
Um,
I just realized if Denmark ties Australia, Australia makes it past. So Denmark has to beat Australia in order to make it past to the next round.
exactly.
They
Exactly that.
have to beat. If
Yeah,
they tie Australia, Australia makes it.
mhm.
Yep, I just
Yeah,
realized that.
yeah, they basically folded. But the group is looking nice because it really looks like France is going to come in first. And all and in this last game, if I was France, I would maybe like rotate the squad a little bit just because they've been playing the same lineup and they've been hit with some massive injuries because Lucas Hernandez had to come off.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, ACL, and a lot of their players like were already starting to get
Yeah, if
injured
I'm
even
them,
before.
their third tier team can beat Tunisia. Just let some of the subs play, get some rest for your players. Maybe they can play like 20 minutes at the end or so. Maybe you can rest most of them.
Yeah,
Rest most of the vets and just get ready for the knockout stage. So
yeah, and who knows? Australia could possibly make it through. But we'll have to see just because the last game is going to be Australia Denmark, correct?
yeah,
Yeah. So
that's gonna be a hell of a game.
basically the winner of that basically goes through along with France.
But
Now,
France can eat shed though. They have to at least tie because if they lose this game against Tunisia, seems very unlikely, and Australia wins, Australia makes it out in first place. So France has to make sure that they at least tie Tunisia.
yeah,
So
um, and that's going to be an upset if that happens. But now moving on to the final game. Now, I was actually in the stadium to watch this game, Argentina versus
I
Mexico.
want to hear you talk about this. I want to hear you talk about this.
The atmosphere was actually crazy. Even before, on the way to the stadium, people were going crazy on the bus. The bus was like filled. Like even though the seats were
How far is the
filled,
hotel from the stadium?
it's about an hour. It's about an hour. But I had to take the metro. But even before going to the stadium, the bus was like packed. Where like they like filled the bus and people were jumping and like since it was so tight, like you had to jump with them. The Argentinian fans were going crazy, um, and in the metro, same thing. Then they were singing all the way there.
Wait, I have a
But
question. Um,
what?
in the stadium, was it mostly Mexicans,
Yeah, it was. I
right?
would say it was like 55-45 or a little bit more. It
Yeah,
was
because
more Mexicans.
I heard there was like a massive Mexican wave in Qatar.
Yeah. It was a massive wave in Mexico. Massive amount of Mexican fans in Qatar. And that showed in the stadium. Like when I was in the stadium, there were so many Mexican fans, and they were there to support their team.
There was
Um,
some guy that had the jerseys down the middle. One side was Mexico, one side was
oh
Argentina.
yeah, what happened?
The back said Mexico, like Messi and Mexico. That was so funny.
Mexico.
But yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
take it away from me.
No, but the game I would say it wasn't. It was in the first half. It was like one of the worst performances of Argentina so far.
Yeah,
That midfield it wasn't controlling. It just they weren't able to create anything. They kept Mexico at bay. Neither team was able to attack. But I would basically say that Argentina misses Lo Celso so much because Lo Celso was the one who's able to connect with Messi, who's able to bring in some to basically break through the lines. And his absence, there's no one in the Argentinian squad who can fill that role. So Scaloni has to basically change everything just to basically compensate for the missing of Lo Celso. Um, but then in the second half, when Scaloni made changes, when he brought into Fernandez, and when he brought on Julian Alvarez for Lautaro Martinez, who did not have a great game, it basically changed the game. And then Messi, as the best player that in the world, he moment of magic. He resolves the game, and then from there on, Argentina looked completely
That was a
dominant.
fucking dime. You could not have placed it any better. No one
Exactly.
in the world hits that. I'm telling you all right now. No one, and he didn't set up. He shot that on the move. He didn't
Yeah.
even settle down. No one
Yeah.
hits that.
Yeah. World
The,
class
the,
strike from
the
our best player.
window for that goal was this.
Yeah. It was that
But
small. It was that small. And when the moment needed it, he basically turned up. He scored that goal that completely changed the game. Now Mexico had to attack. Argentina then they brought on Romero. They took off Di Maria. They basically went in a line of five, but the fullbacks were very attacking. So so at times they were playing with a five at the back or with a four at the back. And then from there on, they were able just to hit on the counter, and then they just look, and then that's where the second goal came in because they countered corner into Fernandez, who had a great cameo. I think he should definitely start in the next game. He pulls an absolute banger.
that was a beautiful goal.
Yeah, but
So yeah, no,
both goals were amazing.
so I, don't, I agree with you. That first half, it looked like Argentina was playing France or a major club.
Yeah,
They're playing. I feel like they felt some of the pressure
yeah, they
that
did.
we have to at least keep it here tied in the half. I feel like when they came out into the second half a little more calm, realizing that Mexico was not breaking through their defense. And I mean, they had a sense of urgency. You have to win this game to make a next path to have a thought of making it to the next round. And I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
Messi's magic. I mean, you could not have placed that ball any better. Great pass by Di Maria. He found him right in the middle. The second goal, after that first goal, I pretty much called the game over because I knew that Mexico does not have the offense to break through against Argentina. And by them being so aggressive on the offense, they were gonna have leave some gaps in the defense. And they got lucky that Argentina didn't get two or three more goals because they had their chances too.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
Talking about Lautaro did not have a good game. He looked slow. He looked out of pace, out of chem. Alvarez played a very solid game. He
Yeah,
played,
and he's been
and
playing. And he's been having a very good moment. He's
I
in like in a very
know
good moment.
I know that Scaloni is going to start Lautaro and Di Maria up front again. I I want to see Alvarez either early in the second half, or maybe they start him because he played a very good game. So we'll see. We'll see what Scaloni does, but
I,
Alvarez played very well.
see, here's the thing. Alvarez is more of like the mobile nine, and Lautaro is more like of the static nine.
And here's the question: does Scaloni have the balls to change the formation for Poland?
No. He's definitely gonna make changes because the way he plays is different against every opponent. And we see that like the lineup isn't gonna be the same in every single game. It's gonna be changing. So there is gonna be some changes brought into it. I wouldn't be
But
surprised if Alvarez starts though,
I would like to see
if
that.
he's in such a good run of form.
But no, that was a good game. I mean, they were expected to win. They won.
Yeah,
They made that first half seem like there was a World Cup final, but they took it away in the second half. And now, I mean, like we were talking earlier, Mexico is pretty much out of it. Even
yeah.
even if they win the second game, they 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 really don't have
No,
much.
what they have to do is for Argentina to beat Poland and for Mexico to beat Saudi Arabia for them to go through as second place.
But but no,
And then
but then there's goal differential.
yeah, exactly. But they have to hope
Poland
that
ha-
Poland
Poland
also.
Poland has 2 plus 2 because they tied 0-0 with Mexico. They have +2. Mexico has -2.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So
let's
that's
so
two goals
they
and
they
hope that
have
Argentina.
they have to win like 4-0 or like 3-0 and hope that Poland gets clean sheeted by Argentina. So
Yeah, exactly.
it is not looking good for Mexico.
It's not. It's not.
I don't think they can score 3 against Saudi Arabia. I don't think so.
No, it's gonna come down to the goal difference. But it favors Mexico. Is going to be playing Poland in the last game, but Argentina also has to win their last if they want to finish first. Um, just because if they don't win it, I believe a tie leaves them with 4 points. And then they have to hope that Saudi Arabia don't beat Mexico or at least
And,
tie. They hope,
and we have to think Poland with the tie has 5 points. That puts them at the top of the group.
yeah,
That means that Argentina and Scaloni should expect Poland playing beyond parking the bus. Like the bus is on top of the house. Like they're gonna park the bus to the point that Lewandowski is gonna be the ninth center back.
Yeah,
So
yeah, man, it's gonna be like
Po-
that.
Poland knows that with a tie, they pretty much not. I don't think they secure the knockout stage, but they have a very good chance. So that they're gonna be playing very very defensively. So they're gonna need as much offensive power as possible to break through any
Yeah,
team.
and also on the Argentina Mexico game, props to Otamendi and Lisandro Martinez. Both of them played an amazing game. Lisandro Martinez was actually amazing. Otamendi, he's the defender who's won the most duels so far in the World Cup.
And Acuna is a
He's
fucking
one thing
stud.
they're standing for. Hmm.
Acuna is a fucking stud.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
Every
really
single
good
one of
game.
them, absolutely insane.
Moriel, I think he played decent. I didn't see much from him,
Mhm.
but Acuna played a very good game on down the left. I really liked how he
Yeah,
played.
Montiel, he had a decent game. It wasn't the best, but that's because like he hasn't been having a big run of games so far.
The ball started very slowly in the first half, and I picked it up in the second half too. So
Yeah, exactly. Right, but like people were saying how it's the Paul from Atletico Madrid and not like the Paul from Argentina who's been playing
yeah,
so far.
yeah.
It
And
was like that.
it was a good game.
Yeah, but just like in every single group, anyone can go through. Anyone can go through as long as they win the game, they're able to go through, and it's that simple. Um, but it's very exciting because anything can happen.
Yeah, no, I mean, look at all these teams that have bad first matches and and they got to jump down in a second. They're right back into it. So
Yeah, exactly,
never
just
say
like
never.
that. Mm-hmm.
Unless you lose the first two games, you always have a chance. So,
You always have a chance. But guys, that was it for our roundup of match day seven. Argentina basically beat Mexico to basically stay alive in the competition. France, they go through the knockouts, breaking the World Cup curse. As always, I post a link on Twitter, and if you guys want to join, you're always welcome to. Give your thoughts and join on the discussion. But as always, like, subscribe, and comment, and we'll see you guys all on